It's episode 120, and after we took a week off because I was out of town, we're back at it and ready to talk about some more stuff. Destry's got some more music stuff. I got some more Bible stuff.
Yes.
And we'll just see where the conversation goes, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right. We have a podcast for a reason, right?
Yes.
We like to talk about certain things, and we have been blessed enough to have a few people around the nation that enjoy listening to us talk. Now,
Right.
I don't know why that would ever be, but we're happy to have them.
Yeah.
We are. And so we sit in our studio, and we're talking, and somebody has to go, okay, this is why we have a podcast. Let's start the podcast and start talking about what we're talking about now on the podcast.
Yep, that was you this morning.
That was me this morning.
You were the cooler heads prevailing.
Yeah, it's not always me, but it is me because y'all brought up stinking shunned at a funeral again.
Right.
And I think
this has been a whole story arc.
We could talk another 2 hours, another 2 episodes about that. Like Chris said, I think this is one of the first things that we're actually on the cutting edge of, or is it just because we're paying more attention and our feed is bringing it in? It seems to me like a lot of people are paying attention to Shunned at a Funeral right now,
Right.
and having a similar experience than we are. Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yeah.
Don't you think so, Chris?
Well, here's the thing. I'm sitting there in the house, with a week off.
Yeah.
And Jadelle has a little tablet that she plays music on. Guess who she was playing?
She was playing. Did she know anything about Shunned at a Funeral? Didn't know anything about it?
I showed her Shunned at a Funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Showed her that. Next thing you know, I'm like, wait a minute, I know that, and boom.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I walked in and went, oh, she's listening to it.
Okay.
So,
all right. It's hard not to listen to. It's
Right.
very nice to listen to.
Yeah, and I agree. So here's the funny thing that's been happening to me lately. So I just spent, a week driving probably a good 3,400 miles.
Yes.
Going up to Massachusetts and back, which is why I was gone last week. And combined over 50 hours straight of driving.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Does that make sense to you, Chris? There's nothing that I want to do.
But I've listened to a lot of music during that time.
Okay, good.
I'll put my, I have YouTube Music, and it'll put on your super mix, or
right.
The algorithm feeds you music that it thinks you'll like based on your prior listening history, and once you go a certain amount of time, it starts to introduce new stuff to you, and so as I'm going down the road listening to this. A Shunned at a Funeral song came on, which, makes sense because I've been listening to it because of our conversations here and all that stuff. But then a different song will come on that's not Shunned at a Funeral. I'm listening to it. I'm like, I tell my daughter, I'm like, look that band up. Is it an AI band? Because I think I'm being fed more AI music.
Yes.
And AI groups.
Yes.
I don't like that too much.
Yes.
While I have enjoyed this experiment we've been doing with Shunned at a Funeral and all that stuff, there's still something about the AI music that just it doesn't sit well. Even though I don't know, we've talked a lot about that, right? And it's something that I still haven't found out a way to articulate exactly what I feel about it.
Yeah,
but
it's evolving with all of us, I think.
Yeah, it is, and
our emotions about it.
Yeah, and it's something I've maybe become less afraid of, but simultaneously more suspicious of.
So I think that's a good way of putting it, and I'm having not a step below a love-hate relationship with AI music right now. Like we said before, we've established, at least I've established in my head, certain parameters. And my parameter is whenever I want to listen to AI, I'd like to say I want to listen to AI. When I want to listen to real musicians, I want to listen. But here's the thing. We're not able to pick it up and put it down at our will.
Right.
We're being given this stuff and we're having to deal with it.
Yes.
And then say, okay, that's AI. I shouldn't like that, but I do. But you know what I mean? So it's I guess it's like anything else with AI, anything you're doing in your workflow. Some people don't like it, but they've been using it for years. You know, the AI in the phones and all that stuff. So we are having to deal with it. This is my weekly, or 2 weeks journey with AI. I have not been open to listen to any new music because I just don't want to deal with it. Chris, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to know if that's AI. I don't care. Boom, boom, flip, flip, go, go, because my algorithm is so used to me wanting to know about new music, it continues to feed me new music. And I have
and that's potentially a way to give you an infinite supply of new music.
Yeah. I have stopped at a couple that I really like. And wait a minute, no, I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
I have an inclination. I'm not even trying to figure it out anymore. Unless it's something that I know because of past. I'll listen to Linda Ronstadt of the Wind, and I was just in a spiritual place because I knew my girl is not AI. You know what I mean? This is Linda Ronstadt, man.
Isn't that interesting though? It's like the mere possibility that this hasn't come from another human automatically taints our opinion of it.
I X'd out everything.
Yeah.
Now, I won't land on that. That's where I am right now.
Right.
And I'm not going to land on that forever.
But it's still interesting that it creates that type of thought path in our brain.
Strong. That tells me how strong it is.
Yeah.
We're going to have to make a decision about it. You know, personally, we have to make a decision about it, whatever that is.
Well, yeah, but the part that makes me really suspicious of it is, are we even going to be able to make that decision? Because, like, I can...
Will we know the difference?
Will we know the difference, or will it matter what our decision is? Because it's just going to keep getting fed to us, even if we can recognize it, right? And it's kind of like, you know, there's a debate on whether or not coffee is good or bad for you, right? And it's kind of like the AI issue. Is it good or bad for you?
You got to make up your mind. What do you think? Yep.
The thing about coffee is like I can choose to drink it or not, and end the debate for me personally.
Right.
And the thought would be the same with AI music. I can either choose to listen to it or not, and end the debate for me personally, whether it's harmful or not. But that's not necessarily true. It's almost like every manufacturer, every food company, whatever, is putting coffee into your food without your knowledge of it in all kinds of different forms. So that you might be eating something like, there's no coffee in here, but it's a form of coffee that you've never had before. You don't recognize it. And so you're still ingesting something that's potentially harmful. That's how the AI thing is.
You're inhaling. You're not
Second
giving
hand
any
or
choice.
third hand.
Yeah, you're inhaling it. No matter what you do, you're inhaling it.
It is being fed into my music playlist, my super mix from YouTube Music, at random intervals, and I'm left with the, quote unquote responsibility of recognizing. Wait a second, I think this is AI, and it's getting more and more difficult to recognize.
Yes, it is.
Last week, we had a week off. I sat at the house and had nothing to do because, no video to edit, no nothing to do, okay.
Josh was off gallivanting up
Josh
north.
was off gallivanting, creating havoc in my world. But I was sitting there, and I like to watch a lot of the old 50s, 60s horror movies,
Right.
and like the Roger
The
Corman
bad ones.
It's like, this is so B. It's like, it's down on it's like triple B or whatever.
They're not even trying to make it look real. That's what makes it good.
That's what makes them kind of good. You have to laugh at her more than anything. So this thing popped up on it was like a little 20-minute movie. And it basically mashed the King Arthur legend, Robin Hood, and Peter Pan all into one world.
Interesting.
That were fighting these almost like they called them mordrains, but they were kind of like, I'm gonna call them like vampires in armor.
Okay.
And it was but I knew it was AI, but it was really fascinating how they made it look very, very real. They mashed all of that together and made a plausible story.
Yeah.
The AI wasn't very glitchy at all. And what was weird though is I said, "Wow, this is actually kind of cool." So I looked up a couple more, 20-minute movies. 2 days later, that channel was gone.
Is that right?
I couldn't find it.
Was this YouTube?
It was YouTube.
So is YouTube doing something?
I don't know if YouTube was doing
they're
something.
having to deal with it one way or another.
And
Yeah,
Right.
everybody is. And like my thing is like I know it's here. I know it's here to stay. I know there's a lot of usefulness to it. And even in music and video and everything, there's a role that AI can obviously play. I just want the ability to either in my settings or whatever is to say, do you want AI music in your playlist or AI videos in your recommendations or not? I want to be able to turn that on and off because I'm tired of, clicking on a short that I think is, someone from America's Got Talent who did really well, and I click on it, and it's a stupid AI video, and now the algorithm thinks that I want to see more of that content, and it keeps giving me more and more stuff. It's like a cancer. I just want to turn it off.
It is like cancer. So I think what we're going to have to do in the future, guys, is distinguish between AIs, because we keep saying AI as if there's only one type of AI.
Correct. Yeah.
And there's not. So we're talking about music AI. Let's deal with music AI for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree. I like what you said about having a switch and going no AI, or yes, allow AI, or just AI. Maybe somewhere in the metadata, maybe in the future that can. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how that can happen. I don't know if it can happen, but I'm just simplifying it, like you said. Just that's what we prefer right now.
Right.
Got it. 100%. Okay, let's put that aside, and let me tell you what I did for my wife's birthday, which was the day after your birthday, Chris.
You got her a subscription to Grok.
I did not. I bought her a little hanging bird bath, which was really cute. She has a bird sanctuary in the back of her yard. She liked that. But I wrote her a song. I took my words. I put all of our pets' names in it, the ones that we've lost. I put some personal situations between her and I, going through heart surgery and a broken femur, and her moving in and taking care of her mother, and how much I love her, and all this stuff. I put those words in, made a song. She loved it.
Right.
She loved it, Chris. And Donna, I know she's not one that goes, "Oh, I love it." Whenever she doesn't, she go. She can't hide her emotions when it comes to presents, you know, especially initially. She just can't hide it. So I appreciate whenever she really likes something. She said, "I'll listen to that song," and she said, "I'm going to listen to it tonight whenever I go to sleep." Oh, man, that's so heartwarming. That's all AI, brother.
Yeah,
it was all AI,
but it was all your words and your ideas.
It was all my words and
ideas. There's that human element, that ability to connect.
Yep.
If you had just put in a prompt that said, "Make a love song," and it did everything, there would have been nowhere near that amount of connection.
That's right. I put in the effort, and I was able to prompt. I was able to prompt it to sound like something or someone I know she likes.
Yeah.
Right. And it came up with the saxophone, just like Van Morrison would play. I went, man, this is. Yeah. It took a couple of times. I wrote several of them, and I narrowed it down, and I changed some words around. So yeah, it took several hours, several days, really, of about an hour a day. So to me, that was an effort. Like you said, that was an effort put in, and it printed out something beautiful.
No deception in it.
There was no deception.
because
She knows I didn't sing that song.
right, she knows you didn't play all those instruments, but she does know that you provided the content around which that
That's
song
right.
was based. It's
And
events
nobody
that
else
were-
could have done that.
Right. It's things that are real to you and Donna.
Yeah.
That you guys experience together and all that stuff, and that's that human connection. It's not fictitious events that were generated by a language model.
I am all about that type of AI.
Yes, me too.
All about
Because
it's not
there's
deceptive.
no deceptions, there's no secrecy involved.
Right.
It's a human somewhere in that process.
So there's an example of
Yes.
two different types of AI. So whenever we say AI on here, we're just using that term loosely. And another thing about AI, you can. I've thought about doing this, and I haven't done it yet. But you can create music that, like, if I'm riding my mountain bike or whatever, I know the trails well enough to know where I'm going to be at a certain time. And we're getting tired. I can create a song to encourage me to to go faster, take a break, or whatever.
Push
Do this,
harder,
do that. You know, that type of thing. And you take that and you extrapolate it to whatever you're doing.
Right.
And it can be really, really helpful.
Yep.
So there's some good stuff.
I think probably the tipping point in my mind that really frustrated me with all this stuff, and it's going to bring us back to Shunned at a Funeral, and I apologize for that in advance. I was, scrolling through YouTube and I saw a Shunned at a Funeral thing, and it wasn't a song. It was like the behind the scenes video of them recording a song in the studio.
So I can't even watch that stuff anymore. I can't even watch it anymore.
Right. And so, it starts with one of the girls from the band with her banjo saying, like, we all, the other girl in the band, forget what her name was, she'll disagree, but we all know that the best instrument for metal is the banjo.
Yeah.
And she starts picking away at this banjo a little bit. And then it goes to the other girl in the band who has the electric guitar, and she starts, doing her electric guitar riffs. And then, it goes back to the girl the lead singer, who's standing in the studio, getting ready to sing. And so it's like quiet in the studio, and she's looking around, and her eyes go up to the top corner. She's like, looks like Mr. Spider is still in the studio.
Oh my God.
Like it's this whole thing. Like, none of this is happening.
See,
It's
that's
all fake.
So we are all right now leaning towards deception.
Yes.
That's what we're all leaning towards right now.
Right.
The first time we started
Like-
talking about this, and the second time we were like, I don't know what now it is.
Yes,
It
it's like,
seemed like we're being all leaning
just
towards that.
do the music. Like, don't try to create these things,
You're
these
creating
fictitious,
a world that doesn't creating a world
Yeah.
in a world that doesn't exist.
this fiction, these characters that don't exist, a world that doesn't exist, and you're doing it in a way that's like they're endearing to us, and they're trying to make us create this relationship with an artist that we would normally have with a real human being. Like, like people who love Taylor Swift. That's a real person that they can go and see in concert. And when she makes cute little videos, they can identify with her because it's a real person who's doing real things. This is none of that, but they're still trying to evoke the same type of relationship and emotion with something that's empty and hollow. And that's what I keep coming back to, empty and hollow.
Couple of things.
You made the mention an episode or so ago where
We all feel strongly about
We
this.
do. We're all just waiting to talk.
they're going on a tour.
Yeah.
Okay, how can you act? I know how you said they're going to do it. They're going to show it on movie
Yep.
screens,
It's gonna be a video tour.
but there's a video tour. But still, my question is, how many people are actually going to show up?
Right now, not many. If they showed up today in Pensacola, I bet they wouldn't be.
No, but I mean, how many people? If he gives it another year,
We
how many
probably
people
would
gonna
just
show
stop.
up?
We would.
Yeah, we would go. This is what I'm sitting here. Okay, boo, boo.
Oh, I'm
know if
going to
I
show
can-
up all right.
I don't know if I could boo the singing the gospel we're booing. Can you imagine that optical? I mean,
It's a bad
but not the
optic,
message.
yeah.
Boo. The
But
embodiment.
how many people are actually going to show up and it's going to pay money to go
No,
see
that's a good question.
an AI video? I mean, it's somebody's going to show up.
Yeah, it's a
whether
good
it's
question.
5 people or 500 people.
A couple of things about that. Whenever I hear Josh talk or hear you say they're creating reality where reality isn't there. Look at Dungeons and Dragons. Look at the stuff you've been playing all your life. All the video games that people play, creating these lives.
But there's no deception.
There's no deception there.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Going into that game that's what you're supposed to be doing.
When I write the world for the game, I'm not deceiving.
Right.
I'm telling a story no different than Tolkien or anybody else.
That's right.
Done.
That's right.
So it's storytelling. Yes, I've created whatever. There's a city here, there's a road here, whatever.
And you know what you're getting into whenever you do that.
Right.
Whenever you're playing that. You know what you're getting into.
But, again, like everything, somebody can take something too far.
Yeah, sure.
But, again, there's no deception created where if I generate, like even in a video game, it's not a real world. Even with the VR stuff. But I mean, how many people got addicted to what's the one? It's a video game.
Space Invaders.
No. I mean, it's a newer one. The one they did the movie about, where it's like these blocks and
not Roblox.
not Roblox.
Tetris.
Minecraft. There's some people that are so obsessed with Minecraft, they absolutely kind of think it's real.
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's a problem in that respect. So what's going to happen with AI when you have it to the point?
Yeah, I know it's going to be tough.
The scary part is, I know we bring up a lot of Star Trek references on this. What happens when the holodeck becomes a reality? Because in there, in the series, they talk about a guy who's addicted to the holodeck.
Oh my God!
How many people walk around now with their phones or their this or their that? How many people won't come out of that room? Ever?
Oh, that's already well documented. Yeah.
So here's another thought about how Josh, how vividly you just created a picture in my mind with just a few words, right? About the girl looking up and saying, "See, Mr. Spider is still there." We can all see that. Knowing what it took to build that song for Donna, I can only imagine how much time it took to build all this stuff that is being thrown on with the title "Shunned at a Funeral." I don't know what program they're using, what app they're using, or how long it's taken, but man, it's really intricate. It seems to be an art in itself to be able to create those characters and have them interact the way they do and tell stories and bounce off of each other. I'm impressed with that. Just need to be upfront with us, man.
Right.
Who are you? Who are you? What do you?
Because we don't even know, honestly, that the story behind the creator is.
We don't know if that's true
either.
Yeah.
So how many layers of deception are built on?
I can't wait.
Those?
I can't wait to
someone
see
who's just trolling us.
I can't wait to see a 14-year-old come out on the talk show and go, "It's me."
And it probably will be.
It's me. My dad helped me. It was a project. Anyway, so I think Shunned at a Funeral is representing a lot of other bands when it comes to taking the crap for being AI. I think I know that there's a lot more AI music out there. I'm just personally not allowing it to be in the mix right now. I just can't deal with it right now.
It's probably more sticking in my mind because of the message that they're trying to promote.
I know, that's
they're doing
tough.
this with the gospel.
Yeah, that's tough.
And that's like.
Do you want to be anywhere near that? I don't want anybody near.
Well, also, even though we're not personally Catholic, there was 3 or 4 days ago that there was something popped out that the new Pope has says that the world needs to probably take a pause and reflect on AI. And when he's the head of one of the largest, when he can say something like that, what's happened within the Catholic Church that has brought that to him to actually make a public statement about taking a pause. The world needs to take a pause on AI.
Yeah, because speaking of AI music, a long time ago when we first started talking about AI music, I brought up Vanilla Ice, version of Ice Ice Baby that was done in 50s soul music. Like, I have no problem with that. This is not the gospel message. This is just some stupid song.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
I still listen to that from time to time because it's hilariously good.
Yep.
The way they redid the way this AI model redid Ice Ice Baby as a 50s like R&B soul
Creative
type music,
Yep.
right?
Like it.
And it's great.
Like it.
But
I like it.
you can't take something that is as important as God and stick that to an AI model and be deceptive about it. Create a Christian group around that. And it's just
How many people are going to actually sit there and think
it doesn't sit well.
that are
No, it
outside,
doesn't.
Of the faith? Or go, is the AI God? I mean, you think about their
Yeah,
mentality.
who knows
Right.
what they're going to be
using?
right? Who knows what non-believers are going to use it as? It could end up being. I hate to say it. Well, I don't hate to say it, so I'm going to say it. The guy, I told a guy on the side of the street to stop yelling at me the other day, and he was yelling the gospel. He said, "Jesus loves you." I said, "I know. Shut up and stop yelling at me." And I went, "Did I just say it because I have a convertible?" You know what I mean? For some reason, you got a convertible, but people feel like they have the right to invade your ear space. And I just had enough. I just got back.
You're just becoming a grumpy old man.
I am
is what you
becoming
are.
a grumpy old man. I almost
I'll
felt
be
bad
continuing
about
your
it.
lessons in a few more weeks.
There was no need for him to yell at. I appreciate it, but I think what I mean is I think he's doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
Because he was screaming at the top of his voice. How many people
We have
are
a
going
lot
to
of that
stop
here,
there?
though, too.
We do. How many people are going to stop there and go, "Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you. Scream at me more. Tell me more about how I'm going to go to hell," because those are the script. That's part of the scripture that they use. Jesus, God says you will go straight to hell if you do. You know, there's a time and place.
Right.
I just don't think it's at the street corner. I just don't think it is. Anyway, I'll hold in my hand something that is not AI.
Are you sure?
I am 100% positive, as much as I can be, Chris. Let me read some music to you. For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. Just Buffalo Springfield, for those you don't know, it's pre Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot. Anybody? Sundown, you better take care if I find you.
You remember my back step, yeah.
Dude, people that were at the concert whenever he first said, they had never heard of AI. Gordon Lightfoot doesn't know what AI is. AI was not even created back then. Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear a word they're saying. Only the shadows of my. That's Nielsen back in the late '60s, early '70s. Your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll. Your mama don't dance and your daddy don't know nothing about AI. That's what I said. Anyway, that's long as in Messina. Your Song by Elton John. I cherish this type of music now more than ever.
It's a compilation.
It's a
album?
compilation.
Okay.
Yep. Compilation.
It is.
You say it better than I.
For those out there, it's compilation.
No, compilation,
It's
not a
mix.
copulation.
It's a mix of really good music.
Not editing that one out.
Okay. So far
These
away.
artists really like working together.
It's a time-life mixture of music. Is
Oh,
what it
okay.
is.
Time Life actually put out a
Life.
bunch of good stuff.
So I found this at a thrift store. 3 of them in a row. We're sitting there going, boom, boom, boom. $1.95 a piece. I got all 3 of them. Ended up getting 2 CDs because I bought a case without a CD. Anyway,
He hasn't learned yet. Check to see.
I haven't. I get so excited about it. I go, oh, I didn't even check it. So I've been listening to that type of music for the last 2 weeks, my entire life. But if AI has done nothing else, AI music has done nothing else. It's made me appreciate what I know is real.
Yes.
What I know is absolutely real. And really, it's a whole nother layer of appreciation. I love watching live music when I know it's live music. I saw something the other day. I know there's a lot of these out there that I'm not aware of. These people are sitting around. They're musicians from all different types of genres. And they're sitting around. It's a real leisurely environment. Cushions, couches. They're being interviewed, and every now and then they'll stand up and do a song. But they'll do a song that's not anywhere near their genre. So this opera singer did an Eminem song. Man, she killed it.
Yeah.
She killed it, man. It was one of those really hard rapping songs. And my goodness, the band behind her. I love watching a band that can play any type of music, and they were getting to it. They had the horns and the piano. Every time they played something, it sounds like that could have been the original music.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So this is going to sound really, I don't know, maybe out of character or whatever, but you know who Kelly Clarkson is?
Yes.
Won American Idol the first time. Her talk show, I guess Kelly Clarkson show, she does all these covers of other people's songs. It's called karaoke.
Karaoke.
Yes. And
clever.
It's known as the Kelly Clarkson effect. She's such a good singer, and the band behind her, which she calls this is my band, y'all. That's the name of the band. My band, y'all. That's the name of the band.
That's cute.
But it's the Kelly Clarkson effect is she'll cover someone else's song in this karaoke spot in her show. And it's just pretty much accepted. If she covers your song, hers is going to be better than yours.
Man.
Like even the artists who sing those songs originally will admit that. Like, please don't do my song. Yours is going to be better than mine. You know? Because she's amazing, and her band is amazing. And it's like you were saying, like a band that can play anything, and it doesn't even look like they're putting effort into it. It's just they're having fun, and they just nail it every time.
It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
It really is. This is in my feed. I haven't found out what the name of this is or anything. So I'm trying to find out what it is because I love seeing that. I'm learning. I've learned a long time ago, but I continue to learn that talented people are just talented people.
Yes.
They can do a lot of different things. Look how many movie stars can sing. Hathaway.
Yep.
If you've seen her in that the
Les Miserables.
Oh my gosh! The first time I heard her sing, I thought, "There's no way that's her singing that." She's singing these high opera voices. She's such a good actress, and there's so many people that can do that.
Yep.
That can sing and act, and I'm just amazed at how that happens. Again, it's making me appreciate non-AI music whenever I see somebody or something like that happening. But anyway, that's. Anything else about music before we move on?
Tons, but we're running out of time.
Yeah.
All right, we are running out of time.
So many thoughts.
So I have in my hand, and then we'll transition over to you. I have in my hand what I call the ultimate shut up juice.
Okay.
I'm going to give this to you, Josh. If you'll just look over that real quick and tell me what it is. Yeah, I know. It's funny, isn't it?
Yes. So this is, I guess, a traffic violation that was caught by a traffic signal camera. Yeah.
What car? Whose car is that? Does it look like? Or what kind of car is it?
That looks like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every time Dawn and I get in the car and she's driving, she drives totally different than I do. Whenever she gave that to me in the car, she was driving because it went to her address, and I said, Donna, I'm going to bring this up on the podcast. I okayed it by her.
Right.
She said, fine. So I'm going to be as tactful as possible. I'm just going to try to give facts.
Okay.
I'm going to give some facts. And I looked. This is while she's driving, and I said, for example, right now, we're in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. How fast are you going? You're doing 45. I said, I would never do that. I'm not going to do 45 in a 30. Then we transitioned into a 25 miles an hour zone. She's doing 40. I'm going, I would never do 40 or 35.
Not knowingly do it.
I would not knowing. If I see a speed limit, I'm going to go. I'm going to go speed limit. If somebody's behind me on my tail, I'll go 5 miles over. I'm not going to hold anybody up. But if there's an easy, safe big road, I'll stay all the way to the right. I'll do the speed limit, whatever. I'm not going to bottleneck. I'm not going to be dangerous that way. But there's certain things that I don't do that she chooses to do. That's just a fact. Stop signs are a mere suggestion to her. It's just like, okay, just make sure nothing's coming and just go on. Don't worry. Stop stands for something totally different for her. And whenever I bring it up to her, she go, "Yeah, I'm just tired of stopping." That's the answer I get.
Stop at your convenience.
I'm just tired. It shouldn't be a stop sign. Those are the type of answers I get, right?
Yeah.
So I like to be a safe. She's a good driver. She is a good driver. But it's not uncommon for me. This is my head whenever we're going. This is what when she's driving, right? And I'm very sensitive to those.
I often wonder what people are thinking when they're not watching this, but they're listening to it.
I know. Isn't that funny?
His head's going back and forth.
Now, granted, her brakes are a lot more touchy than mine. I had them the other day, and it really did. It's very touchy, but she's just a different type of driver than I am. So she handed me that the other day, and I said, well, I guess I just need to shut up, don't I? Because she's never gotten a ticket. Now I'm getting – how much does that cost? Did you see it?
Yeah, $158.
$158, Chris.
Oh, so this was you driving?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
I thought she was driving.
No,
you were driving. Okay,
that's why it's the ultimate shut up juice on my part. I just need to shut up. You know what the funny thing is? She said, if you're going faster, you probably wouldn't have got that ticket. I would have made it through the red light. Right? I made it through the yellow light if I was going faster.
If all of our listeners will contribute $19.99, I can tell you how to shield your tag so you can't be tracked. But it's going to cost you $19.95.
I'm going to take a picture of me with $185 in my hand, giving it to somebody, send it to them, see if that works.
Take it to them in pennies.
That's just the way it is, man. And I don't remember specifically, but I do remember going through a light going, wow, that was red. So, but I didn't see the flash or I didn't see anything. Surprising how clear those cameras are, Chris.
Oh,
my gosh.
Now they've got those flock camera things, and that's really starting to irritate people because they're violating your privacy in ways that like you're in the Walmart parking lot. Well, they can in real live, almost real time track. Oh, Destry's at the Walmart. Destry's over at the 7-Eleven. Yeah,
sure.
They can track you wherever you go, and as you go up the road, they can continue to track you.
And I guess for tracking somebody who may have kidnapped a kid, that's probably how they can.
That's how they're trying to justify things.
Right.
But they can also use it to go, oh, Destry went over to, or Josh went over to, whatever, to the donut store, whatever. Who knows? I mean, just saying.
They start putting cameras at the donut shop, man, I'm in trouble.
It's just so much goes on with all of these different cameras, and it's becoming more and more. You have no reasonable right to privacy out in the real world. I mean, you think about those cameras that have at Walmart. They don't just transmit to Walmart; they transmit to law enforcement.
Well, supposedly our mayor has said that these traffic signal cameras are a money-saving device because there were so many accidents happening at intersections that the city was spending a lot of money in cleanup and all that kind of stuff. And he has said that if it's an experiment, if these cameras don't noticeably reduce the amount of money the city is paying on those types of things, that he'll take them away. I don't believe it.
I don't.
But that's what they say. I have a healthy distrust of politicians, but
I think that's healthy.
Yeah,
I do.
But I don't like the idea of being spied on all the time. Like I'm not planning on breaking a bunch of rules,
right?
But yeah, it's I just don't like being spied on all the time.
Either.
Like I don't like the idea that someone is always watching me. I mean, I know that's funny coming from a Christian who believes in an omniscient, all-powerful God, but that's different.
Right. Speaking of watching us, hey, one of our loyal listeners and a relative of mine, Buddy Martin, wanted me to pass on to you that he cannot get enough of the genealogy.
Cool.
that you talk about with your Bible study. The other day you were talking, I think the last episode you were talking about this guy who was hassling the king, and he didn't just hassle him, he followed him on his trek.
Shimei.
He kept on heckling him and everything, and bodyguard said, "Hey, let me go talk to this guy."
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, don't worry about it. He's not worth my time." Had he not done that, had he killed that guy, Jesus wouldn't.
Or Mordecai and Esther wouldn't have happened.
Right, Mordecai and Esther wouldn't
Yeah.
have happened. He said, I never thought of that. I said, that's what Josh does. He brings this genealogy that most people just glance over or are not able to connect the dots, and he brings that to a Bible study. He said, man, he can't get enough of that. He just wanted
That's
me to
cool.
pass that on
Nice.
to you. You met Buddy before.
Yep.
And both of you have, Buddy and Cindy. So anyway, Cindy's actually coming to town. My cousin Cindy's coming to town next month, and I was going to have her come on the podcast.
Yeah,
if
sure.
it's okay with you guys. She can be a addition to the. She's a little nervous about it, but I told her we'd be kind to her. Sound good? All right.
We'll have her listen to Shunned at a Funeral.
Yes. give us her opinion on that.
Tell us how much you hate them now.
She actually is responsible for a lot of my musical taste, because she's a little bit older than I am, 2 years older than I am. So she introduced me to REO Speedwagon, as a matter of fact, and listened to a lot of her records and everything over the years. Anyway, last night was a good class.
Yep.
You talked to us about how we can.
It's funny how our Bible studies in that class tend to evolve, because we kind of started this new one as a result of the pastor at our church. Sorry, I keep getting messages. Our pastor, he was doing a series on Esther, and so we did sort of a companion one along with that went into stuff like genealogies and history of empires, and how the Persians and the Greeks were interacting with each other, and then the timing of it all, like how one of the things that's sometimes difficult about the Bible is it's separated into all these books. Yeah. And everyone, like, I was just asked recently, like, how to read them in chronological order. And that's really difficult. And it's, and they're not placed in chronological order because they can't be placed in chronological order, because a lot of them overlap. And we don't realize that. And that was one of the things that we were trying to point out with that series on Esther, because the lives of Daniel and Esther and Mordecai and Ezra and Nehemiah and Jeremiah, all these guys and girls, all these people, not just their lives, but the events that their lives influenced all overlap. And so you can't just say this book came before this book came before this book, because they're all happening right around the same time, different locations, different messages, different people that they're addressing. And so we were talking about Esther, and that kind of got us into the Persian Empire and the end of the Babylonian captivity, and the Persian king allowing the people to go back to Jerusalem and start rebuilding the city, and that was Ezra and Nehemiah. So all that's happening at the same time, but then adding the historical stuff on top of that, because all of these events were real events that happened in history, and we can see evidence of that, not just in archaeology, but in aerial photos of the places where these happened. And so when we talk about people like Ezra, he had such an influence into our lives today that we don't even realize. Namely, when we open up our Bibles, we're reading an English translation. When we flip to the Old Testament, it's an English translation of a Hebrew manuscript, and that Hebrew manuscript has a very rich and documented tradition of being copied and preserved over the centuries, over millennia, so that when we're reading a translation of the Old Testament today, there's a confidence that we can have that it's very accurate compared to the documents that existed during Ezra's time. And Ezra even played an important role in that, because Ezra was a scribe. He came from a scribal tradition, and even was responsible for, in part at least, maintaining that scribal tradition and ensuring that it kept moving forward.
Right.
And that's kind of what we've been talking about, this like spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off of that Esther series is, where did our Old Testament actually come from? And so we've talked about 4 like primary sources that are scribal traditions, preservation traditions of the Old Testament that come into play when we start talking about translating the Old Testament. One we talked about last time was the Samaritan text, and we talked about the Samaritan people and their history and all that stuff. What we talked about last night was this body of work called the Septuagint. And so when you go back and you start to read happening at a similar time as Daniel and all those guys, the prophet Jeremiah. So Daniel was when he was young, he and his friends were taken out of Judah by the Babylonians. He's taken to Babylon, and we know the story of Daniel, right? He became really respected in the Babylonian kingdom, became like assistant to the king, one of the wise men, that kind of stuff. Same as his 3 friends. He was part of one group that got taken from Judah and brought to Babylon. The Babylonians did that at least 3 times. One of the other groups was of people that were taken would have been Ezra and Nehemiah. But right around that same time, so a young Daniel is in Babylon. You go north of Babylon on the Euphrates River, and Ezekiel is there, and he's telling his people in that area about what's going on in Jerusalem, because he sees a vision of God leaving Jerusalem and heading east, which was God leaving the temple in Jerusalem, because the people that are in Jerusalem were worshiping other gods in that temple, and God's not gonna maintain His presence in a place where other gods are being worshipped, and He's purposefully being rejected, right? And so that was Ezekiel's vision. So Ezekiel's north of Babylon. At the same time, Jeremiah is over in Jerusalem, saying the same message to the people in Jerusalem who are rejecting. Well, he's talking to multiple people. There's some who are rejecting God. There's some who haven't. But regardless, this community of people are looking over the horizon, and they're seeing the Babylonian armies, coming, and they're just scared out of their mind, wondering, what in the world do we need to do? Like, is this one of those things where we need to rise up and fight, and God's going to win this battle for us? Is this something where we just turn tail and run and try to escape the oncoming forces? Or, what do we do? And so they go to Jeremiah and ask him that question. And Jeremiah told them, don't run. Don't be afraid of, the king of Babylon. There's a remnant that's here in Jerusalem. This is God talking through Jeremiah. There's a remnant here in Jerusalem that I haven't forgotten, and I'm gonna rebuild with you, and I'm gonna show you mercy, because I'm going to affect the heart of the king of Babylon, so that he'll show you mercy, and you guys don't have anything to fear. Well, they did not accept that message. They actually called Jeremiah a liar, and they said, "You're lying. Here's what we're going to do. We're thinking about running to Egypt." And Jeremiah said, "No, don't do that. Don't run to Egypt. That's not what God wants you to do." Well, they do it anyway, and they take Jeremiah with them. And so there's three cities right around the Nile Delta where they flee to. And this is all in Jeremiah, like chapters 42 through 44. They flee down to Egypt and they set up communities there. And so these communities grow, and God is very clear with them, like, I'm not happy that you did this. This isn't going to be like the haven that you think it is, fleeing from the Babylonians. Like, this is the opposite of the place that I want you to be in right now. And so it was very difficult for them. It wasn't all peachy like they thought it was going to be. But regardless, this is where we start to see a very large Jewish community grow in Egypt and in several places in Egypt. They even start to build temples in Egypt, some worshiping God in those temples, some worshiping the gods of Egypt in those temples, some of them doing both. And it kind of becomes like this pantheistic religion. But regardless, there is at least a group of people, of Jews in Egypt, that are trying to remain true to God and still maintaining this tradition of preserving the Old Testament scriptures. It's almost like God is, when an enemy comes in and conquers and tries to destroy their source documents, it's almost like God has a backup copy in Egypt or a backup copy in another location. It's kind of neat how that works out. So fast forward, that's Babylonian Empire. Persia conquers Babylon. Greece conquers Persia under Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great dies. The Greek kingdom splits into the Hellenistic kingdom, where you have his four generals sort of splitting everything up. And the leader that becomes in charge of the heir of Egypt is a guy named Ptolemy the First, and this is right after Alexander's death. He's very interested in just information and literature. He was a historian. He was a writer, and he got this idea. I want to build a library, because that was kind of like the thing to do at the time. Let's build libraries. And he in the city of Alexandria in Egypt, named after Alexander the Great, he decided, I want to build a huge library. And this was one of the most famous libraries of all time, the Library of Alexandria. And his son, Philip II, was tasked with funding expeditions all over the known world at the time. Buy any book you can find, from any author you can find, about any topic you can find, bring it back here to the Library of Alexandria, and we're going to have this repository of information that people can access. Well, just so happens there is a growing community of people in Egypt known as the Jews, and they have this document that they hold up as being extremely important, given to them by God, and it's the document that guides their actions, their feasts, their moral guidance, all this kind of stuff. And so it was viewed as, this is probably an important book that we want to have in our library. The problem is it's in Hebrew, and so Philip II had a bunch of Jewish scholars from Jerusalem, because Judea was recently acquired by his dad Ptolemy I of the Ptolemaic Empire. They hired 72 Jewish scholars from Jerusalem to come to Alexandria and translate the Hebrew Bible into Greek. And by this time there were pockets of people in various places of the known world at the time that were independently of each other preserving and copying these Old Testament manuscripts. There's groups in Egypt, groups in Jerusalem, groups in Babylon, all this stuff. And so there's this body of Hebrew copies called the Vorlage text. And so they brought that to Egypt, to Alexandria. They translated it into Greek, and that became what's now known as the Septuagint. A lot of times it's abbreviated as LXX because the 70 some odd scholars that were brought in to do this. So the Septuagint becomes like the timing of it was really great because the Hellenistic world at the time, these four kingdoms of Greek leadership, the entire known world was speaking Greek at this time, and this was a couple hundred years or 100 or so years before the New Testament starts, and so we have the Old Testament scriptures being translated into the language that people were going to be speaking by the time the New Testament comes around. Because it was the old Babylonian Empire, the old Assyrian Empire, the old Persian Empire, obviously the Greek Empire, and then as Rome starts to come on the scene, everyone in the Roman Empire speaks Greek as well. So now we have the whole known world speaking one language, and we happen to have the ancient Hebrew scriptures now translated into that same language. Mm-hmm. And so by the time we get to the New Testament, and Jesus is talking to he's talking people the Sermon on the Mount, or talking to the Pharisees, or the disciples are spreading the gospel, or the apostles are writing the New Testament and everything. They now have a Greek Old Testament that they can quote from. And so whenever we read a quote in the New Testament where Jesus or Paul or whatever is quoting from the Old Testament, they're quoting from the Septuagint, because that was the translation of the Bible that exists at the time that Ptolemy I and his son Ptolemy II sort of commissioned, because they wanted this big library in Egypt, and there happened to be a huge population of Jewish people in Egypt because they all fled there when the Babylonians were attacking the southern kingdom of Judah. And so that whole legacy, or that whole like lineage of decisions or whatever, even though people were like going against God's, what God was leading them to do, it was still used. Like, that's one of the cool things about God's, like, he can even use our bad decisions to accomplish his will. Not that he needs our bad decisions, but he can accomplish his will in spite of us. Mm-hmm. And it's neat to see that sort of play out in real time as well. Right. But that's what we talked about last night, is where that Septuagint came from and how it was important in the history of Scripture preservation. And even now, when you look in the average study Bible, one of the sources of the Old Testament that we're going to talk about next time is called the Masoretic text. It's another scribal tradition. There's some subtle variations between all of these. And so a lot of study Bibles, when it comes to a part of the Old Testament where the Septuagint says this and the other tradition says this, they'll often point out, like, there's a slight variation here of scribal traditions, and so it could have one of two similar meanings most of the time, but it's often used as like kind of like a second source to confirm what we see. But it's kind of neat to see that even though there are these separate scribal traditions, it gives us an assurance that over time, the original documents, the original message has been preserved very, very well, because of how important of a job they saw it to be. And so, anyway, that's what we talked about last night.
And I think it's a good tool to have in your toolbox, because in my experience, one of the first things that seekers are asking and questioning is, how do we know that the Bible was accurate from back in the day? Mm-hmm. So we can take what you just got through saying, probably streamline it a little bit and just say, hey, do the research. I mean, you're searching and that's awesome. You know what I mean? But if you care enough, do the research and find out how accurate and how God has put these things into play with the Bible, so you can be confident about that. It may not make you believe, but at least that's one tick in the box of, okay, I see. At least the text is correct.
Yeah,
from what God intended.
And also one of the misconceptions is like when I'm reading my Bible, people say that it's a translation of a translation of a translation. That's not true. There was the original, like if we're talking about the Old Testament, the original scroll. Yeah. That the original, like Moses wrote on. Scrolls don't last forever. Yeah. So someone made a copy of it so that the information on the original scroll could be preserved on the new scroll, and they could keep using that. And that tradition kept going. And that tradition is still being maintained today of copying and copying and copying, because copies don't last forever. And so we're not looking at a translation of a translation of a translation. We're looking at a translation of a copy of the original. And so it like dispels the myth that we've been playing a game of telephone this whole time. Right. And with the Septuagint, it would be, when we're looking at an English translation of the Septuagint, we're looking at an English translation of a Greek translation of Hebrew. So even still, it's only one more step removed from the original document. Right. But we still know enough about the history of the Septuagint to see how it was developed and where those translational details came about. So, here again, it's like one of those things that a lot of people get bored with studying because it's technical and dusty, and the thing that academics like to look into, this whole thing of textual criticism. But in concept, it's really important because it reassures us that what we're reading is still the Word of God.
Those details matter.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you, Josh. Before we close out, Chris, I wanted to thank you on behalf of my wife also for throwing a party at your house. It was actually your birthday party that I didn't even know. Did you know it was his birthday party? I didn't know that. Did you tell when did you tell me?
Well, I usually have it in my calendar, and
I didn't tell anybody. My wife kind of put up the whole thing of, why don't we just have a barbecue and we'll just do your birthday with, because it is your birthday. So that's how it came about.
No, I have his birthday marked on my calendar, which I won't say on air. Okay. So people can't steal his identity.
Gotcha. That's a good idea. I should have known that, because I think I did know that yours and my wife's birthday are a day apart, and it just didn't occur. It didn't occur to me that we're going over on that day. So we walk in, and I see happy birthday. I went, whose birthday is this? What's Chris's birthday? Oh,
that was a J-Dale idea more than anything.
But we had a really good time. It was fun. I love seeing Donna. She doesn't have an opportunity to get out that much because she's a caregiver for her mother, and she works 40-plus hours a week. So it was good to see her let loose, sit down, have some good food that you cooked. It was all very good. AJ was there. AJ has been a guest on this podcast. Chris too was there with his family. He has been a guest on the podcast, and our friend Linda was there, and some of your friends. I've met one of them, I think, through the gun club, and others I met.
Tim and Tim.
That's right.
Tim and Tim.
And a Navy friend of yours was there, and his children, and it was a good time. It really was. So thank you for that.
I'm glad to have you. Well, I'm gonna have another one again soon.
All right. So, one that Josh can go to. That sounds good, right?
Yeah, we'll invite him.
We'll invite him if he wants to come. If he wants to come, he can be there. All right, Don, I love you. Thank you for watching, everybody, and listening. We appreciate y'all, and we'll talk to you next week for episode 121. See ya. Yeah.